The Union 0430 is brought to you by Real Geese, the most technologically advanced silhouettes ever produced.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Union 0430, episode 47. No Merc, he is in La Belle Province right now. Well, actually boarding a plane on his way back to Ottawa. He's left Newfoundland, headed back to Ottawa, so we'll see him next week. So you got the four gringos on tonight. We got Phil down in Oshawa, Dave up in Kincardine, and Ryan in Nova Scotia. Of course, I'm here in Kingston, Ontario. And we had a guest lined up tonight, but backed out at the last minute, had something come up. So it's just us four tonight. So I wanted to start this episode off, because really this is the first episode that I can say it, where Real Geese is now the official sponsor of the Union 0430. And I think it's pretty goddamn cool that Craig Mintz and Real Geese reached out and said that they want to be part of the show. And, you know, Dave, after we had back and forth and did a little bit of chatting with him and came up with what the plan was, I think it's pretty cool that that we are now officially sponsored by Real Geese.
Now we're doing a giveaway on Facebook and Instagram right now for 3 dozen, right?
Yeah.
Do you think we should do another giveaway for 3 more dozen just for tonight's episode?
Sure, why not?
Yeah. So what do you think? Maybe comment in this episode right now on YouTube, and only people that listen to this on YouTube are going to be entered into this one.
Mm-hmm.
Comment below what gun you're using, what choke you're using, and what your ammo type is for this year's turkey season. And we'll pick one of you winners. How's that?
Perfect. And we and of course we'll ship to your door. All you got to do. And I must add that you need to be subscribed to the channel.
Yep.
Yeah. So
like, subscribe, share.
Yeah, like subscribe, like the cool kids say, like and subscribe, guys. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, hit the bell.
Yeah. Just ring that bell.
Smash that subscribe button.
and nothing against Craig. Craig's an amazing guy, but I'd like to see Bird Dog whiskey kind of step up to the plate. Just saying.
Well, hey, so did you see?
We are accepting applications.
Well, we're being very
liquor.
So here, I know what your guys' thoughts are, and here's a good venue for me to get it out. So I hear a lot of times, and we don't get it that much, like those emails. Remember we had Rusty on that time, and that kid was, you know, I love your duck calls, like just looking for free shit without actually knowing what the company is all about and stuff like that, right? And I don't want, that is not what we're about. I think we are very picky. Like, we didn't jump when Craig mentioned this to us. We had a chat about it, and we talked to Craig and made sure that his idea of what he wanted out of us and what we wanted out of him were beneficial, and that by no means were we going to change anything about the show, which was funny because he was like, do not change anything about the show, because that's why I like it so much. He said, because you guys are as raw and pure as they get. And he said, so please don't change the show. I love it as it is. But I just think, like, in a world today where everybody seems they need to be accepted by social media and by these social media influencers, that if you don't have pro staff or ambassador or all of these little companies in your, and I don't mean little as in Mickey Mouse, I mean like just having a list of companies in your bio, it doesn't mean anything. Like, do you, one time I think I would be impressed if I seen like 5 or 6 pro staff for this, and this. but that was when I was fairly new to everything. And that doesn't really impress me anymore.
It's kind of like the when you go into an investment advisor and you see beside their name, like there's this guy, he's got his BSc and his AP, whatever, and all these other initials beside his name on his business card. Well, that's great, but how do you actually do? How do you actually do with my money? And in this case, how are you as an actual hunter?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing out there? Are you actually out there every day off or as much as possible? Are you? And then
Yeah.
on top of that, the thing that I've been looking at more often these days, like these people, it's great. You know what? You're taking all these beautiful hunting pictures. What are you doing in the off season?
Mm-hmm.
Are you just
Taking
sitting
more
at-
pictures.
Yeah. You know, some people take pictures, build wood duck boxes. Are you looking at habitat? You know, are you helping out with your DU dinners and your Delta waterfowl? Because we got to give back. And that's the big thing too. Like, let's look at it all.
Yeah.
Do something. Do
personally.
something with the youth, man. Like, most
Mhm.
importantly, like pass that tradition on to the next generation. Like, I don't see a lot of that on Facebook, especially in the waterfowl Instagram area. Like, as I see lots of people posting like dead bird piles, or they post that same photo of that same bird they've taken 300 photos of from a different angle on that same day. But what are you doing to further the sport? Like,
Mhm.
you're making money off this right now. You're
Mm-hmm.
making a living for yourself somewhat in popularity. Make sure you give back.
Well, apparently on Instagram, popularity can be paid for.
Apparently.
I've heard that.
You can buy
But
followers.
So
that's
going
a good,
back to that, getting youth involved, I'm
Yeah.
just starting with my daughter. And we've shot the 22 out at the farm a bunch of times and never thought anything of it. Well, then we went to shoot. I got her a new 20 gauge this year, and we
Thanks,
took it out to
Wolverine
shoot
Supplies.
it from Wolverine Supply. Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Grumpy. But I took her out shooting, and she was so scared of it that when she went to shoot, she would be pulling even before she even
Right.
pulled, like she'd be pulling the gun before she'd even pull the trigger.
Right.
Anticipating.
And I had to think about it. Like, kids these days she was deathly afraid of this gun and what it would do. But meanwhile, we could go out and I could give her a 22 and she'd shoot all day long with it. Right. So it was kind of neat. Like, we need to do more with our youth and take that time. You're exactly right, because I felt that I should have gone back and we should have been shooting the shotgun in the spring and like during the summer last year too. Right. So.
And and I don't want to take away from the fact that, yeah, you need that. Maybe she just needs a little bit more time behind the gun, but in a previous life, I used to teach a lot of things. And one of the things I used to teach was explosives. And the first time bringing a kid in and teaching them how to work with plastic explosives and stuff, they're like this and they're shaking and they're jittery and stuff. And I used to ask them, like, why are you so afraid? And they were like, well, it could blow up. And I'm like, there is absolutely nothing going to happen to this if you treat it the way it's meant to be treated. And that's what we need to do with the educational gun. Like Abby's a 14-year-old girl, right?
12.
So, Jesus, sorry. Okay. So she's
Yeah.
a 12-year-old girl. She's inundated with all this social media and news about how bad guns are and how evil they are and all of this stuff. Even though she shot a 22, you don't know what she's seen in a picture of what a shotgun can do. And we just need to teach people, listen, it's only, the gun isn't dangerous. It's the person that's holding the gun that's dangerous. And we've heard that term a million times, guys.
I got a safe right beside me here, full.
Yeah.
They haven't done anything in ages. Just sit there. They've
but
committed
I
no
wanna
crimes.
I want to get back to that whole, giving back bit, because we are a society these days where it seems like it's always take, right? What have you done for me lately? What can I get from you that's going to benefit me? And I think that mantra has been around since, Christ was a hunter, but it seems like it's fallen even more so. Like there isn't that give back anymore. Like you don't hear about people going out and buying their local angler and hunter club membership, their DU, their Delta, their Safari Club, whatever, their CWTF. And I get it. I know everybody's got a story that, well, they don't do enough for my area. I get it. I understand what you're saying, but look past your immediate area and see what they're doing for the overall sport and for conservation and for youth. Like you look at Delta, like Delta's commitment to kids is amazing. How much they commit to kids.
Yeah.
And we need more people to be promoting the youth hunts and getting their kids out on social media. Yeah, the big piles of dead birds is cool. The beautiful sunset that you see in the morning is cool. How much more beautiful would your sunset be if you were taking the picture and it was your son and daughter in front of you with the sunset? They're looking out at the sunset. How much more better would that picture be? Because I think it would make an unbelievable picture personally.
The one that I want to win
100%.
is that First Light's doing that give back to the NWTF thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw that on their Facebook or Instagram,
yeah.
But the first 1,000 people or something like that buy a NWTF membership, one of those people is going to win a Zoom call with Steven Ranella, where he's going to outfit you with like a custom made turkey hunting suit through First Light. So that's pretty, all these companies, like we see a guy like Steven Ranella, he doesn't need to do this stuff, but he's part of it. He's giving back too. Right. So,
yeah.
And we all have our own ways. Like, I don't contribute to DU or Delta like directly, but we all have our ways of giving back and helping. And like, I'm more than willing to take out a lot of new hunters, and I did this past fall. I took out a young fella, and like I think he shot more geese with me in the 2 hunts we were out than he's ever shot in his life. And still to this day brags about it, like how much fun he had. And was like unbelievably thankful. I'm like, dude, just out there to have a good time, man. I'm glad you dropped some birds, and we'll do it again. As long as you're learning something and taking something away from when we go out, that's the only thanks I need, is to know that you're bettering yourself and getting yourself further ahead in the grand scheme.
Yeah, and you got to remember, and for people that have never done this, you're going to get just as much enjoyment out of this as what that kid is, or that new hunter. I shouldn't say kid, because it could be a new hunter. You look at when we took Liam out, Ryan, on his, when he and he doubled up. His first birds he shot was bang, bang. And the second shot was a beauty shot. I'm not sure. I know Liam will always remember the day, but I'm not sure he'll remember how excited you, his dad, Mark, and I were for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think he'll ever remember how excited the four of us were that he, and I think I can still remember Matt jumping in the air, like, cause he's running the camera, taking pictures. And when he doubled up, like Matt's in the back, like jumping in the air with his arms up. Mark, who was in the blind with him, is just out of his mind. Like that stuff, it's impossible to recreate it. And it's once, it only happens once. A kid shoots his or her first bird once, and you could be part of it.
And the one that I like too is like a couple weeks later, after you've taken someone out and you've shown them like a good experience of a proper hunt, like not just going out throwing your decoys out and hoping birds show up, like an actual proper hunt.
Yeah.
And like you remember that, and they have a great time, and they're like, this is so good. And then a couple weeks later, when they come back to you, they're like, hey, can we do that again? I'd really like a hunt like that. And then when you turn to them and you're like, we could, or we could teach you how to do it on your own now. And that's where you're leaving that with that kid. And 10 years down the road, you've had an impact on that kid's outdoor career. And that's,
Well, listen to Barry when we had Barry Keeks on, like Barry's taking kids through the mentorship program he has, and now he's hunting with these kids. Well, and they're not kids anymore, they're adults, and they're inviting Barry out to hunt now.
Yeah.
And very established hunters, right? And know what they're doing, and are safe and respectable and all of that good stuff. I wanted to switch gears. And this is a question for you guys, because maybe and I've been trying to figure it out, but I don't think it works in Canada. And that's that app on X Hunt. Does that work in Canada?
No,
it doesn't,
no.
eh?
No.
iHunter. Use iHunter.
iHunter, eh?
Yeah,
I gotta.
that's what I use out west.
Okay.
So, and depending on the province, you can get the actual landowner maps.
Yeah.
So
it's not working for Ontario.
no. Okay. It works out west.
You
Well,
can get
see,
like the
out
property
west,
lines.
yeah. Even when we were out west, Ryan, like those maps that Daryl carried, like it was so easy to find who owned what. Like
Yeah,
everything is just
he was
all
using-
marked.
He was using actual like plot maps back
Yeah.
then, but it was only like 2014 we were there.
Yeah.
And then what year? 2019 was the last year I was out there, and now it's all on your phone. So
Really,
which is
eh?
which is a huge asset.
Technology has come a long way.
A touch, yeah, a touch, right? So
Just a tad.
They have the
Yeah.
internet on computers now.
and like when we had Claudio
Hey,
on
speaking of that,
we had Claudio on here like way back when, and we're like, he started his business in the 90s, and I was like, what was it like trying to find back then? Like there's no cell phones, like
Yeah.
you couldn't just call somebody from your truck. You had to go home and
Yeah.
dial it up,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a good point. Like how, like those fellas, like a guide back then, like you were really earning your money back then. Like it wasn't just a simple pull off on the side of the road and give a call, snap a picture with your phone and send that to somebody. Jesus.
Yeah, you call a farmer, I mean, you get him on a cell, he's in his tractor, no
Yeah.
big deal, easy day. But go back 20, 30 years, you find out where he lives, drive out to his house. His wife's like, no, he's on the tractor.
Yeah.
Where? Which
Yeah.
field? Oh, that way.
Couple counties
go-
over.
Yeah, now you gotta go find what field, and hopefully you get the right field, the right guy in a tractor.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I'd hazard to say too, though, that because of technology and how simple it's made things, and it's not as big of a grind as it was back then. You're going to find a lot more guides and outfitters around that wouldn't have been able to handle it back then. If that kind of, if what I'm
100%.
saying makes
Oh,
sense.
oh,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's-
Too much
yeah,
work
some
for
guy
too
who-
much effort, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And nowadays
Yeah.
it's just because of technology, anybody can do it, right? Like, I got a
Exactly.
phone and I got a camera and a car.
Yeah.
and- right.
Yeah.
Yeah, your drive had to be at a certain level in order to execute at that
Yeah.
time.
Could you imagine? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I just had a thought in my head and I lost it. It was a good thought too. It was going to spark some great conversation. Oh, well, it's gone.
Should have wrote it down.
I should have. Well, I do write shit down, but I only half write it down. And then I got to ask the boys what it was I was writing down. Oh, I know what it was.
Oh,
So
Oh,
for
thank God.
Pokeroo.
Pokeroo. For those people that are listening and not watching us on YouTube, first off, it sucks because you can't get in on the new giveaway that Dave just announced. But also, you may notice that Dave's sexy and sultry voice sounds different, and that's because he's got a big old boom right now with a microphone on it. Hey, remember Wayne's World? Remember the Wayne's World movies?
Party on, Wayne.
Yeah.
Party on, Garth.
Remember Handsome Dan? Remember the radio guy, Handsome Dan, and that was his name, was Handsome Dan, and he had this amazing voice for radio, and it sounded so awesome when you heard him on radio. But when the boys went into the studio and they seen him, he was nothing like a Handsome Dan. He had a
Not so
face.
handsome.
Yeah, he had a face for radio.
Was
And-
that Wayne's World?
I'm pretty sure it was Wayne's World.
Or was that 70s show?
No, that was 100% Wayne's World, because I can
Okay.
remember
Right.
Wayne and Garth looking at one another and going, "This is handsome Dan. Handsome Dan isn't so handsome."
Yeah.
But Dave's sounding like a
Handsome
white.
Dave.
He's sounding like a white James Earl Jones right now.
It's probably the dab beer.
So that was my good thought. I wanted to get a jab in at Dave and his new boom.
Yeah, the kid didn't want it anymore. He moved his bedroom downstairs and didn't want the microphone. So
Must be nice to be the kid that lives in the house and just pick whatever room you want when you want.
you know
If
what?
I tried that on my old man, he'd be like, "Yeah, there's a shed in the back."
Yeah.
Life.
I've moved around 4 times now, and well, my wife doesn't watch this, but I am the number 4 in this house of decision making.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's fairly consistent with what goes on in my house as well. I had a guy show up to the house the other day just to give me a quote on some gravel, which apparently COVID has affected the price of gravel now for some goddamn reason I don't understand. Anyways, he said, how much? He asked me, he said, how much do you think this job would cost? I said, I don't know, $1,100-$1,200. I'm just looking at it. And he was like, oh. I was like, well, what? I said, I don't want to insult you. I said, but that's what I think. I said, I think you need this much gravel and it should take this long. And he's like, well, by the time taxes included and everything, probably around $3,000. And I said to him, I said, well, I could pretend like I make the decisions around my house, but you're going to have to call the wife and give her that quote, and she'll tell you if we're going to go with it or not. Because, yeah.
Do you have any gravel pits near you?
Like quarry? Oh, just to go to the quarry and buy it yourself? Is that
Yeah.
what you're getting at? Well, I got no problem with that. My problem is I need the gravel spread out and graded and the crown put on. Like, I've got a long driveway and everything now, right? So it's not like
you got kids and a rake, right?
Listen, I don't know what you done when you were a young fella as a cop, but I can tell you what I done as a young fella as a sapper. And that was, I slugged gravel and rakes and shovels and picks and axes. My days of working like that are over.
Buddy, I was doing it last summer at my
Over.
trailer. Gravel was $18 a ton.
$18.
How much of this do you think is actual, like, COVID's actually affected stuff?
Well, I
None.
don't know of any confirmed gravel deaths
Yeah.
because of
It's
fucking
none.
COVID.
Look at the lumber, right?
Make plywood cheap again.
You go to the lumber yard, and lumber's like triple
Yeah.
the price or whatever it's at now. You go find that Mennonite sawmill.
Yeah,
You go out there, he's still charging the same thing.
absolutely is.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So-
That's the same thing as when that container ship blocked off the Suez Canal, right? They were like, oh, well, prices are going to get jacked up now. And I'm like, why? Why are you going to jack up prices? Because some bonehead blocked up
Decided to make a 3-point turn.
Yeah.
the Suez Canal.
Oh, that's like, what was it?
Austin Powers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you see the
Austin
pictures?
Powers in the tunnel with the fucking golf cart.
There were guys that like photoshopped that ship over top of Austin Powers in that
Yeah, in that scene.
corridor.
Yeah.
Somebody put, remember that show, the Thunderbirds way back in the day?
Yeah.
Like the
Yes.
puppets. Somebody
Team
did,
America before Team America.
yeah. So somebody done one of those. So the Thunderbird ship like landing and everything, and then one of their pieces of machinery coming out, and it drives up to that ship that's blocked off the Suez Canal. And as they're digging it out, it turns to like they're taking the raw material and spits out like mud out and back. It was awesome. Like, somebody put a ton of time into building this thing. It was good. Anyways, I'm sure there's some people that would rather hear about some hunting stuff as opposed to the Thunderbird. And there's a generation of
Suez Canal.
people that have no idea what the Thunderbirds are.
No.
Or AOL.
AO. Remember that ICQ?
Dial up.
Yep.
Get off your ICQ. I'm on the phone.
Boys,
We're old.
Ryan, I feel
We're
sorry for
fucking
you,
old.
buddy, because we're going to touch on a subject now that you're not going to get to partake in. But
Uh-oh.
today is what, the 22nd of April.
Is today Earth Day or something? Or was that yesterday?
That was yesterday, I think.
No, it's today.
It is
Today.
today.
Yeah, because April 20th is 420.
Yep.
April 21st is Random Drug Test Day.
Mhm.
And then today's Earth Day. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking hippies.
Hippies. No, but hey, I did see a pretty good post on Facebook today where it said Happy Earth Day, and I would like to thank all the hunters in the world that do more for conservation than any other group out there. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I promise everybody that's exactly where I was going with this about today being Earth Day, and Damien fed right into it, and I didn't even tell him that before the show started. Good work, Damien.
We're
You
synced.
guys are in sync.
We are.
Except for Damon's Wi-Fi, it's
Yeah.
way behind now.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
still-
like 2 seconds behind.
oh my God.
He's still celebrating the comment.
Damien's
Yeah.
on fucking dial up.
So 2 weeks ago, I get an email from my internet provider, ExploreNet. It's junk, and I have no problem saying so. So I get an email from ExploreNet saying there's been an upgrade to the equipment in your area, and now you are now able to get LTE internet. And I'm like, wicked. I'm still waiting for Elon to get me Starlink here, but in the meantime, I'm like, this is awesome. So they in the email said, go on to your account and pre-order, and then an installation team will be in touch with you, and we'll get you squared away. I'm like, perfect. Waiting week, nothing. I'm like, well, they're probably busy. The installation guys are probably busy. I'll give them another couple of days for them to call me. Still nothing. So I call New Brunswick, where ExploreNet is, and I say, hey, listen, this is what I've done. I'm wondering how come I haven't got an installation team. They're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, this guy said, right? And I said, well, here's my email. I said, I can forward you the email confirming that I ordered it. He said, you can't get that service. And I'm like, so why did I get an email? Well, we just blanket email people. I'm like, so you blanket email people telling them that they can get stuff with no intentions of ever providing this service to the people that you email it to. And he was
That's
like, well,
pretty
that's not what we're doing. Well, that's exactly what you're doing, because you emailed me telling me I could get a service with no intent of providing me this service. So anyways, I'm still waiting for Elon Musk to get some enough satellites in the sky so that I can get it here. My internet
I
sucks.
thought he just built cars.
No, buddy, he's into everything.
Yeah.
SpaceX, bro. SpaceX.
Yeah.
He started a cryptocurrency. That dude is into everything.
Well, so okay,
Sounds
without
good.
getting too far off topic, he mentioned,
Hey, so turkey season starts soon.
Yeah,
Turkey.
yeah.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've gone too
So this
far.
Sunday, turkey season, boys.
Well,
So
when
what,
this episode airs yesterday, turkey season opened.
Yep.
Well,
So
depending on
hopefully
how
we
bad my
see,
internet is, because it's taken me 4 days to upload the video of Corey Baker's show. That just got on today, and I've been trying since Monday.
Yeah, your internet's non-essential.
Clearly. But yes, sorry, Dave. As of Sunday, turkey season in Ontario. And relax, Doug Ford hasn't canceled hunting for the 10 million fucking people that ask on
Oh.
Facebook. Hunting isn't canceled. Boneheads.
Dude,
Did you
when
see
he
that thing
dropped that announcement on Friday, my phone fucking blew up. Like, everybody and their cousin, am I allowed to do this? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like,
Check
don't
your
bother me.
regs. Check the
Like
ribs.
I put my pants on the same fucking way you do, one leg at a time. Like I don't know.
Phil's
I'm
sitting
going
here
turkey
going,
hunting.
why the fuck are you asking me? Well, Doug Ford said that you have the power now.
Hey, Dougie. Jesus.
So
I'm leaving this one alone. I'm going fucking turkey hunting. I can tell you this much.
what do you shoot?
Oh, now your internet's
Oh,
shit in the
man.
bed.
Oh, Dave.
Oh, Dave froze up.
It's like
Dave.
a virus.
He's frozen.
Just me?
Oh, there you go. You're back.
You're back.
Oh.
Yeah, you wouldn't have that if you're in Colby's room, but
Yeah.
Okay.
He just went to where the best Wi-Fi was.
You were in mid-sentence asking me what I was doing or something.
you're
What are
like,
you
what's
shooting?
I was
favorite
just
shot?
wondering what everyone's. Are you getting on with the bow this year? Or 12
was-
gauge, 20 gauge? What you doing?
Thinking about I've been thinking about the bow for a long time. It just kind of sits there and collects dust because I'm not really a bow hunter, but whatever. Everyone knows I'm a huge
Beer.
20 gauge aficionado. So
I
yeah,
want to take one with the bow. I really, really do.
I shot one with a crossbow. That was fun.
Yeah. I want
almost
to. I want to
dead,
take
but-
one with my bow. But right now I haven't found a bird yet. I haven't found a bird, so I'm gonna wait probably another week or so and then go after them and probably take my young fella for the first one, shoot the first one with the shotgun, and then the second one I'll go out and try and get it with the bow. And then that way, if I don't get one, I don't get one. But I've already got one in the freezer, sort of kind of deal. That's my mentality on it.
Yeah, like I'll be scouting hard Saturday, Sunday, because no Sunday gun where I am. And then I'll be out Monday morning with my old man and see if I can put him onto a bird. He doesn't care as long as it's got a beard. He'd actually rather shoot a Jake because he finds they taste better.
I don't care.
He just gets just as excited shooting a Jake as I do with Tom, and I get just as excited watching him shoot a bird. Like I put my dad onto a Jake last year, and he was just bouncing. Like that's what I like to see.
I just like shooting toms because it prolongs your season.
Yeah.
You know? That's all.
Yeah.
kinda
If you're 100% for that reason, if you want to be picky because you just enjoy more and more days of scouting and getting out there, 100%. I am of the belief of I'm not a world-class turkey hunter, and if one comes in front of me, I'm gonna not take the chance and pass up on it. If it's if there's toms around, I'll wait, but if I haven't seen anything and it's a Jake, I'm taking a Jake 100%.
I'm Tom's only for the first 4 weeks.
Really, eh?
Yeah, that's my rule too.
Yeah, first 4 weeks Tom's only, and then if we're getting down into the last couple hours of the season, it's just like fuck it. Yeah, you got a beard, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
No tag soup.
DED did.
Yeah.
So for all of our American listeners,
You don't have just back up.
all
a
of our
bit.
American listeners. What?
You got to
I'm
back
in
up a little
chair
bit.
that doesn't slide.
Yeah, but you can't have your face right into. It's like you're deep.
I'm
throating
hungry,
the
man. It
mic.
looks like an ice cream cone.
Yeah,
all of
go
our
for
American
it.
listeners, like we are here in Ontario. They've just made it so that youth can have their own tags, but youth can only get their own tags when they're 12 years old. And
didn't
we can
know
only
that.
shoot 20 gauge or a 12 gauge. We can't go to like the 28 to 410.
You can use 16.
We can use the 16. Can't use the 28, can't use the 410. But I want to know what your guys' thoughts on that is. Like, number one, do you think the 12-year-old age rule?
I'm okay with a 12-year-old age rule, provided
Caliber.
that it's. See, I'm still of the mindset that the turkey course should be a thing, right? And I know that's not a popular topic, but I still think that the turkey course should be a thing. So at 12 years old, if you've been educated, I'm all for it. Put a kid in there younger, as long as they're shown the proper way to handle a firearm and to be safe and stuff. I have no doubt in my mind. Kate is 11. Well, Kate will be 12 in August. I have no doubt in my mind that Kate would be safe if I took him out into the woods, because I've taken the time to show him and to be safe with a gun. I'm 100% okay with it.
Because there was some debate on the Book of Faces there. Someone said that they shot one with a 22 or something. Am I frozen again?
No,
No,
you're
no,
good.
He called it the Book of Faces, and
Yeah.
Damien found that.
Oh,
I
Fun.
find that, yeah, that's
so
The Book of Face.
it's legal somewhere. I can't remember where they said it was legal, but someone said, "Oh yeah, I shot one with a 22," and there was a debate about people's ethics, and there was a guy going off him. Well, that's unethical, but really, like, is having one come in and me shooting 500 pellets at them at the same time any less ethical? Like, it was
Yeah.
quite the debate, and I should have brought you guys into it beforehand.
so what's unethical about using a 22?
And that's, I think the guy was trying to state that, like, at 100 yards, if you go up 111 inches, you can shoot one at 100 yards. But
Right. Okay.
I don't think it's a matter of ethics. I think it's a matter of fair chase.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
That
not
that
really-
that I
There's
can
no
buy.
it's not an ethical dilemma. You're still going to be able to harvest the bird quickly.
I would
and
argue-
ethically within the parameters of the ballistics of the weapon.
Yeah.
But it's the matter of fair chase. Like if that's why you can't shoot, with a rifle, because it's not fair chase. You can just,
Yeah.
How many times have you been within 100 yards of a turkey, but not within 50 yards of a turkey? You rarely get to sneak up on them like that. So
I'd really like to see them allow us to use the 410.
I think the 410 would help for the youth, especially.
yes,
Like my daughter, with that whole, like, being scared of the 12 gauge and the 20 gauge, like,
Mhm.
listen, she's now shooting the 20 gauge fine, but there's still a little bit of a flinch there that you could tell, like, she's still like, oh, what's going on here? That 410 would allow her to get that. I think it would just let her roll off a little bit more, and
It'd be a good stepping stone too, right?
it's a very good stepping stone.
So
I'd
would
probably
it,
shoot
so by allowing the 410, would it also have an effect on people ensuring that birds have to come in closer in order to shoot them? Do you know what I mean? So no more of these people that are trying these 60-yard shots with a shotgun, or you know what I mean? So like if you're using a 410, listen,
I'd hazard to say the people that are trying to take a 50, 60 yard shot with their 12 gauge, if they were using a 20 or a 410, they're still the type of people that would maybe try it then. Like, I'm not saying the people that,
yeah, fair.
right? There
Yeah.
are people that, hey, it's a chip shot for them. I'm not saying it's anything bad. I'm just saying, like, the people you're talking about are still going to take those shots.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what about decoys? Have you guys seen those decoys from Real Geese? Silhouette turkeys?
Yes.
I'm going to give them a shot this year.
Are you?
I want to see what they do. Like, just
Super easy to carry.
super easy to carry them in, and you could have a flock in there, right?
I just wonder. So I wonder, because I see a ton of people, especially this year. Every year it's a popular topic, but even more so this year, I'm seeing a ton of people talking about having a real fan under turkey decoy. So with the silhouette, like, so I'm not a big turkey hunter. I've only killed I think 4 turkeys in my life, right? So I don't have a ton of experience. Dave, you have a ton of experience shooting turkey. Like, does that real fan make that much of a difference?
So my personal belief is a lot of the turkey decoys, and even like duck and goose decoys, a lot of them are built to appease the eyes of the hunter. I hunted with an old man one day way back, and he shot a bird, and it was right by his decoy, and he blew the head off. It was like one of those really old, those decoys that you could like roll up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he shot, but he ended up shooting the head off the decoy, and he went out with that decoy again and put it out, and he still shot another bird over it. And there's also guys that don't use any decoys at all. So
That was me for the longest time. I didn't use turkey decoys.
but then the other side of it, you're going to see guys swear up and down about the most realistic hand carved decoys you can get. And so Yeah, I personally don't use fans, real or fake. I'll put a single hen out, maybe two, but that's about it.
I know a couple guys that swear by the funky chicken, like the most
Yeah.
unlooking.
Yep.
Oh,
It looks like a rubber chicken on a stick, just painted like turkey colors. Like if you've ever been a Canadian Tire, you'll see it.
Well, you can't go in now, but
Isn't Bertrand one of those guys, Ryan?
I don't know if it was Bertrand or Steph Landry. I don't know
Steph.
what maybe it was one of the two of them. I'm
Yeah.
getting them mixed up, but
They
yeah,
were big fans of that funky chicken, eh?
man, like I think one of them just used it on a whim one day, and then they ended up shooting like the biggest tom they've ever shot. Like I don't know, it literally looks like a rubber chicken, like a clown would carry. Like
Yeah.
it's just,
I seen a picture of one like just the other day, and I'm like, that's god awful looking.
yeah.
But it
You know what
kills.
I should have done today, Matt? Perhaps I'll reach out to Naughty Beaver calls.
Like Chris
Hey, you know Chris, Dave?
Davis.
Oh, you don't know Chris Davis?
never met him.
Oh no. But and Andy Verco from Dark
Andy
30.
Verco makes a really nice call.
Yeah,
Yeah, he does.
So does Jordan LeMay.
yeah,
Jordan LeMay makes a really good call.
yeah.
Um,
And you
There's a
and,
lot of
hey,
good-
and don't sell yourself short either. You make a
Well,
really good call too.
I just make them for like DU dinners, and like if a friend wants one, I'll make one for him. But I just make them. I use Jordan LeMay's. Right.
I showed Trish a picture of the one you made for me. Yeah, I was like, look how fucking cool this looks. And she was like, wow, that do look really cool. You know what I mean? So don't say again, going back
Very
to
pretty.
Ryan's comment earlier. Hey, as long as it looks cool, don't worry about the sound.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it.
Flip that around. Flip that around.
Like
Oh,
these
that-
guys that
yeah.
make turkey pot calls by hand, it's actually like it's not the easiest thing. Like you look at a duck call, and if you make the tone board in the kind of the right shape, you can sand it a little bit and get it. But with those turkey calls, once you glue that stuff together, like if a piece of that glue is on the inside of that pot, it changes the sound. If your dimensions are off, the sound could be wrong. It's not like you can just take it apart and sand it a little bit. You got to smash the stuff out, right? So
Mhm.
And for
That's-
those that are listening and watching, Dave is seriously selling himself short. It
Yeah.
will show my pot call that's coming. Look how
Yeah.
sexy that is.
That is a beautiful looking call.
Oh,
it's in the
So
middle.
and I agree with you, Phil. I think he's selling himself short, and sometimes we take for granted that we've got
Dave
a call
is a-
maker. Yeah,
Dave is a humble gentleman.
very.
Very humble. Can't grow a beard though.
But he's got a big boom.
Not allowed to. Remember that.
Oh yes. Hey, have you started cooking lessons yet?
He's number 4.
No, not yet. We're on
It's number 4.
pause. COVID.
Oh, poor Dave.
You guys, what ammo are you guys using this year?
Well, I'm gonna pattern the Challenger turkey load. I haven't patterned it yet with my Kicks choke and see how it goes. Like, I like Kicks chokes and I like Challenger ammunition, but if it doesn't work, then I'll say 100% it doesn't work. But that's my plan is to use those, and hopefully it patterns up well.
So
I'm running the Kent. Is it the ultimate turkey in 20 gauge? My only, I guess I wouldn't even say call it a gripe, but I love 6s for turkey. I'm like all about pattern density,
Mhm.
and it only comes in a size 5 shot.
Okay.
But I've
Which
killed
is not-
turkeys with size 5. Like it's like I'm fucking making a mountain out of a molehill, right?
Yeah.
So I've got nothing but the utmost faith in their shells, and
Oh, really?
we'll
Oh.
see how she goes.
That not many people say that about those shells, but whatever.
Well, in fairness, for all those people that are
I'm
complaining,
just joking, buddy.
let's see them start making their own ammo.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah, buddy. I'm just ribbing you just because it's fun. I love it. But no, like, and I think that's what people, I think that's something that people need to understand is, you know, your choke tube, your gun, and your ammo, that's three totally different entities that need to come together to work for you, right? Like it's
100%.
not a magical pill that, like I always see people say, I got a Browning, humpback, watch shell, or watch choke tube. Well, what number shot are you shooting? You know, what choke tube are you shooting? Like there's so much, it's not just a blanket answer. Well, if you're shooting this gun, then you got to buy this ammo. Like it just, it's different. It's always different. And the only way to know is to go out and pattern it. And we had Corey Baker on last week, and you know, he gave a real good example of exactly what him and his friends do, is that they all go buy a couple boxes each, and they try everything to try and find what works best for them and their gun and their choke tube, be it factory or aftermarket. I've always ran factory tubes, always. This will be my first year running an aftermarket tube. I've always ran factory tubes.
The first, so like, as a lot of people know, like I shoot a Benelli M2 20 gauge, and I shoot that primarily for ducks, geese, and turkey. The first year I had that gun, I didn't even have a turkey choke for it yet. And I spent the time, I did the research, you know, searching up stuff on the Webernet, not making posts all over Hell's Half Acres, like just did the work myself, and saw a lot of good reviews on the actual factory full choke in that gun, and guys using that killing turkey. So I'm like, okay. So I went out with that choke, and I patterned it with a few different shells, and I shot the biggest tom of my life that spring, like limb hanger tom, and he was 32 or 35 yards, I think is what it was.
I thought you were gonna
And-
say pounds.
Yeah, I did too. When he,
Whoa.
that's,
32 or 35 yards.
Was he in
and
a pen?
it's like that one, Ryan.
He was at the super center.
Yeah, remember Ryan, that year we were out and we were scouting. It was me, you, and I think it was me, you, and Vitch. And I was like, "There's a turkey." Oh yeah, because remember we were in the tree line. And I was like, "There's a turkey coming out of the tree line," and I think he just put a cigarette out before he fucking came out into the field. Like this was the biggest bird I have ever seen in my life.
He had a top hat and he was twirling the camera, asking where his bitches were.
Yeah,
Like,
he was a total pimp. Like, and that bird, like, it was the biggest fucking bird I have ever. It's like one of those. Remember that? You see that video, that rooster over in Nepal coming out of the chicken coop? Have you seen that video on Facebook?
The thing's like big butterball.
Yeah,
Mean
well,
as sin.
yeah, like that's what the size of this turkey was that was coming out. And you know what? It came out and totally like would not come anywhere near us. Just
he did like a box, an 80-yard box around us. Like,
yeah, but it was massive. I was like, this dude just put a cigarette out. He's huge. Like massive.
He just beat up a coyote somewhere. He gives no fucks. Based upon the field of fucks that he not gives.
That's awesome. But you know, and we're all over the place as per normal. But I do hope, I do hope though with Sunday coming and you always hear these unfortunate stories where you know, people are shot at or you know, stumbling upon someone and up too close and just being unsafe. And I really, really do pray and hope that everybody has a very, very safe opener on Sunday and you know, everybody harvests their bird and it's done properly, ethically, and the whole bit.
No hens get shot.
Yeah, no hens get. Well, you know, you got that hen, but you got that bearded hen, right? So some fellas, like I know fellas that get upset if that actually happens, right? Because they're looking for, they see the bird or they see the beard and and then when they realize that it was an actual hen, well then they're pretty upset that they took out a hen and not a tom. But I just hope everybody has a real safe opener and enjoy it for what it is, right?
Mhm. I'm stoked. Got some new
Season-
clothes coming in the mail.
You got some what coming in the mail?
Some new clothing.
Some new clothing.
Yeah, finally spent the money and got myself some nice some turkey gear.
So
Old Tom?
Old Tom Drake.
Well, actually, a little bit of both, because I wanted to get one of the just like regular plain old hoodies, or whatever, and they didn't have it, so I got like one of these like fandangled Drake ones in
Okay.
bottom land. I'm gonna look sexy as fuck. That's all that matters.
I want what I wish, and I haven't seen First Light do it. I know Drake does it, and I know Sitka does it. Actually, Ryan's wearing it tonight, and I've got one up in my closet. But First Light doesn't have, or I've yet to find, one of those technical hoodies. So that thin hoodie that's 100% polyester, as opposed to the big thick.
Oh, it's like long johns, but with a hood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want, but like I like those hoodies. I like those
Man.
hoodies that are wow.
They've got a furnace and a fuse hoodie.
Yeah,
The furnace is like their merino. It's super, super thin, but it's as technical as you're gonna get.
really.
Oh
Yeah,
man, it's
I'm gonna have to order it then. Because I don't like, technology has evolved and we've evolved as people. I don't think when I buy a hoodie, I need to buy a hoodie that's this thick anymore in order to have you know what I mean? Like, and
It's all about body mapping and layering now, and you do that
100% it
properly.
is.
You don't need to wear a big bulky hoodie to stay warm.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Drake is doing. I didn't know about those because I'm just looking at their logo gear. When I look at First Light, so not so much the camo pattern. I'm just looking for a regular everyday hoodie to wear around, right?
and I think it's
Drake's got some nice stuff.
I think it's
coming.
not
Yeah.
looked at because it is like in their hunting line, but
Mhm.
they do have like the solid colors.
Okay.
But I do want to say that those new Foundry pants that they've got with the knee pads in them,
I am wearing a pair right now. Holy fuck!
is that the Obsidians or the?
no corrugate?
And so it's got the. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just took the.
The butt pad. Oh, there you go.
Oh
just-
wow!
Oh,
Oh, look
Oh.
at you!
You
Over
know
60.
what? Honest to God, and Ryan, I know you can appreciate this, and not taking anything away from Dave and Phil, but I've been around a bunch of gear for a long time, and I really, really like it when a company puts some thought into how they design something, and now you could do yoga in these pants. Like that's how mobile and how much mobility and movement you have wearing these pants. Like, and it's just they've taken the time, and I know like Drake is doing the same thing. And I'm not saying that First Light is, well, I am saying I think First Light is the most technical, but the argument is out there, right? Like you could say the same for Sitka, you could say the same for Drake. Gone are the days of just, well, here's your pants and here's your shirt. There's so much research and development going into clothing now, that more so than I think a gun. Like you look at Beretta and Benelli and those guys now, if they design a new gun, 80% of it, I bet you doesn't change. The working parts are the working parts. It may just be, a few minor tweaks, but you look at clothing and how much clothing has changed over the last couple of years with regards to, like you're saying, body mapping and layering and movement inventing, like, so I bought these corrugate pants. I've been waiting for them to actually be in stock, and they showed up. I wore them today out dog training, and which that's another story. Some dog training with Lander today. Just you know, she's rusty. She needs back onto a solid routine again. But you know what I mean? These clothes, like these pants, are probably the most comfortable pair of pants I've ever worn. And they're hunting pants. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. And I love the fact that Phil, you're with Drake, Ryan, you're a Sitka guy. I love the fact that there's 3 different clothing companies on her and 3 different, you know what I mean? It's not it's good to hear other opinions on other bits of companies, right? Because it can't always be just.
Hopefully we don't get a sponsor from one of them, because we're gonna have a problem.
I don't think we need to worry about First Light, Sitka, or Drake beating down our doors for sponsorship. And you know what? For that reason alone, perhaps that's something sometime where we say, you know what? I don't think it's a fit for the show, because we've got 4 people on here, or 5 people on here, and
I think the word you're looking for is diversity.
yeah, diversity.
Right.
Well done.
Like
that's-
marmalade.
Word of the day. Word of the day.
Yeah. So here's a question.
Yep.
3 different companies here, and there's other great companies out there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that if all these companies came together and they said, okay, here's our best, and they put it all together, that they could make like 100%, this is the best gear in the world? Or do you think that, like, you know what, First Light works for me, Drake's working for Phil, Sitka's working for, you know, like it, do you think that it's, you know what, this is what's working for me, and I don't think that there's one thing that would work for everybody.
Well,
I think for the 4 of us, and 5 too, if you want to include Mark, like
Miss you, Mark.
we miss you. He's probably at 25, 30,000 feet right now.
He's probably right at the border.
Yeah. Yep. Right at the border.
you'll have your papers.
You derailed my train.
Sorry.
Like, it's for us, like, because I think we've interchanged with a lot of different companies. It's a matter of preference at this point. There are a lot of people, especially for my company and Dave's company, who are just in it for publicity and in hopes of free stuff. And Drake too, to be honest with you. But for us, I know for a fact it's just because it's what we prefer. I like Daryl Gilbert. I know he used to be with one company, and it didn't stand up for what he did, and that's why he is with who he's with now.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's got the same pair of hunting pants when I met him in 2014 as he used this year, and he guides both ends of the migration. So because that's what works for him, right? So
well, and I think each company has their own demographic too, right? So not only is it personal preference, but if you are a field goose chasing guy, well, then I think there's a company that you will probably tend to follow. If you are a water duck, miserable weather sort of dude, I think there's a company you'll tend to follow. If you are up in the mountains and long walks, a lot of walking and a lot of movement, I think you're going to find it. It is, each company has their own niche. They're trying to expand to everything, but each company has their own little niche market that they conform to, right? And I think that's the thing when it comes to when you talk to these 3. But then there's more, right? Like you got Cryptic out there now. There's this company
Kuyu.
And then there's this company in Canada, I think, Scree, SK.
RE.
Yeah. So I don't know much about these guys, but like there's a lot of companies that are out there, and they're
Man, like, you know what, from my previous employment, like not in the
Yeah.
hunting industry,
Yeah.
but like if outdoor research or Arc'teryx ever gets into the hunting game, man, look out. Those are two like
So,
and I know
I'll
from my old job, like
yeah.
that those are good, high quality companies that can last their hold up to the test of time in the field.
So I've got a friend that's in R&D with Arc'teryx. I shouldn't call him a friend. He's an acquaintance. That's in R&D. So ex-military, so with their LEAF program, Ryan, which you're familiar with. And I spoke to him back first when Punisher Waterfowl was starting, and I'm just spitballing ideas and stuff, and I chatted with him, and he told me flat out that Arc'teryx will have zero to do with hook and hunting. So fishing and hunting, zero. They are not interested in getting into the world, and they don't need to, because they don't need that extra revenue stream. They create probably the best equipment in the world, in my opinion, that I've used. But they're just not, they're not going to get into the hunting world. And he said, like, there's absolutely zero appetite from the board of directors to get into the hunting and fishing world with Arc'teryx.
Yeah, they're all like grassroots, broken stock wear, hippie camp.
Yeah, like they're a West Coast hiking. Now that they have a LEAF program, which is military and special forces and stuff like that.
Special operations and tactical.
Yeah, but that is a very close knit community.
Yeah.
The average police force is not going to Arc'teryx and fitting out their police force with Arc'teryx gear, because it is pricey. It's same with Cry, right? Cry and Arc'teryx are the same thing. Anyways, I digress.
I think gear is the one thing where my kids are spoiled in comparison to when I started. Like when I started hunting, I was wearing like Canadian Tire gear, and some of it's good, don't get me wrong, but like I was wearing gear that, like, I was out there, I was cold and I was miserable, and I wasn't hunting. I'd hunt 1 week, right? Rifle season. And now that I'm getting this technical gear, you're warm, you're comfortable, you're dry. Meanwhile, my gun, I can give my kids my gun and ammo combo from when I started, and they'd be able to be successful. But
I think a lot of it too, like, is, how invested are you in this hobby, in this sport, and like all four of us know each other well enough. It's the same, like, if Mark was here, he'd chime in too. Like we go hard from start to finish. We're not the weekend warriors. Like, we're out there beating shit, breaking stuff, running over things, like, you name it. And obviously, like, we spend that time to look in and research, like, what gear works best for us, and like what type of hunting situations am I going to be in. And like for some people to get out a handful of times throughout the year, then like, that nice $100 jacket at Canadian Tire fits the bill for them.
100%.
They're not going to go out in like a torrential downpour where us idiots will, because we do that sort of stupid thing.
Like, you got to question our sanity at times.
Like going out to Long Point in 4-foot rollers. Like,
yeah. Well, I always, I wish, Ryan, I really wish we would have had like a photographer follow us around that trip in Nova Scotia, especially that day at Dead Man's, when you and I showed up at like Zero Dark Stupid, and we are like skirting this pond and breaking off humongous sheets of ice to slide in under the top of other pieces of ice so that we could have a pocket for birds, and like we're frozen. Like, we're fucking frozen doing this. for that 1.5 hour, that magical witching hour where the birds just work for you. And they do. Yeah.
And if you remember that hunt, the details of that hunt. So me and you did that, and then went back and got the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
And that was the hunt. Remember, a blizzard had blown in.
Yeah.
So anybody who knows, sees my profile picture on Facebook or Instagram, like that photo was taken in that snowstorm. It was just starting. And it was also the same hunt that you referenced, Liam shooting that first double.
Yeah.
Like it was all the same day. So, I mean, that just doing that work, and you're right, it did suck. I think I slipped and fell forward and got my arms soaked. My decoy gloves got drenched, and I fucking love it. Like I love it.
We'd go back and do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely. And Phil,
We're just that dumb.
Yeah, and I didn't want to jump on you there, buddy, but like you're 100% right. Like, by no means are we shaming anybody, and I don't think that. And actually, I know Dave wasn't saying anything when it comes to that Canadian Tire. Like, if that's what gets you outdoors, and you're happy, and you're doing your thing, then give her, man. I am a fucking 44-year-old man that spent 20 years of getting mud and rain and every bit of shit weather that you could get as part of my career. My days of being cold, wet, and miserable are fucking over. And I will spend top dollar to make sure that I'm comfortable.
But I'd like to point out,
yeah,
Canadian Tire gear now, even like the stuff, like they're using that hunt shield now.
Yeah.
Back when I first started, like way back, it was like I want to say it was like a Remington jacket or something.
Yeah.
And like even Canadian Tire gear has stepped up. Like I'm just saying Canadian Tire gear because that's all we got in our town, right? But
yeah, but you look at that Rocky gear. Like my dad wears Rocky gear, and on the northwest coast of Newfoundland for moose hunting. That's what my dad uses.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you, you'd be hard pressed to find a more challenging climate below the 60th parallel than what my dad hunts moose in. You'd be really hurt. And that's what he uses. He uses that Rocky or the Yukon. Is that the same brand?
Yukon?
Well, they sell them both, but Yukon is the Canadian Tire brand. I used to have a set of their bibs, and they were like a lot of cotton in them, and they weren't like light.
That's what dad uses, man.
But I never got cold in them. Like never came close to it. So
yeah, that's what dad uses. And I'm telling you, you think Ontario end of November sucks? Go to the Northern Peninsula of Newfoundland and try tramping around a cutover after moose.
Well, we should do that.
Hey, buddy. Listen, you guys want to come to Newfoundland and go hunt moose? All you got, the problem with going to Newfoundland to hunt moose is that we've got it's got to be a really, really planned trip, right? Like you're talking 9-10 months out where you got to plan it, and because there's only one license, right? So dad would get the license and we would all tag along with dad as he shot the animal, right? But it's 100% doable. You just got to tell me. And the problem right now is with COVID in Newfoundland, you got to isolate for 2 weeks as soon as you get in the province, right?
Can't even leave Ontario.
Can I isolate in a tent in the middle of a cut?
Yeah.
I'll say to you the same thing as I said to many others that have mentioned me getting together with them over weekends, and they've mentioned tents. Ain't happening. I don't do tents anymore.
I got my own tent.
Well, I done 20 years in a tent, buddy.
That's a flashback.
I remember Steve Horse. They were gonna tube down to Grand or something like this, and they were planning this big trip a couple years ago. And they said, "Hey, are you in?" I said, "Yeah, we're in." I said, "What hotel we staying at?" And they were like, "We're not staying in hotels. We're tents." I'm like,
Out.
July, I better have air conditioning or I'm not going. And they were like, are you serious? I said, I'm 100% serious. 100. Live in a fucking tent at plus 50. Yeah. Not interested.
Good times.
Mhm.
Hard pass.
Hard pass. Well, fellas, I think that's about our time. Once again, all over the place. And I love it. And I think that's why our listeners love it. Another great show. No special guests. So 2 weeks in a row, no special guests. I think that's about the benchmark. So next week
We had Corey Baker on last week.
Oh shit! Yeah, so we did. So
You're a dick.
I am a dick.
Corey
Oh,
was a great episode.
Just
You know
another
what?
bearded ginger. That's all he is.
You know
I got in
what?
trouble for yelling.
Yeah, but you know what? Corey never sticks around this long to listen. So
Yeah.
he's not unless somebody else lets him know. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Corey. But anyways, no special guest this week. Mark will be back next week. Ryan is going to be here next week. Phil's going to be here next week. Dave's going to be here next week. And of course I will be as well. So we'll have the 5 of us plus a special guest. No idea who that's going to be right yet, but it will be someone round the table because I didn't do it last week and I cut Mark off because I think he had something real special he was going to say to Corey, but to you first, Philly.
Oh, just great being on, guys. We are approaching our 1-year anniversary. And I am seriously waiting for the warmer weather so I can get back in the old garage, get a big old fat Cuban rolling.
With that, I need some advice because I'm going to go out and buy a cigar for the 50th sort of 1-year anniversary, and I will have. But I'm not a cigar guy, so I'm going to need some help between Dave and Phil. I need your help on.
We can show you the way, young grasshopper.
Dave.
You know what? Good talking to you boys again. It's always good. Best part of my week. Just remember, everybody, if you want to win 3 Dozen Shadow series, you got to put a comment on this YouTube episode, your shotgun make, your choke, and your ammo for turkey season this year.
And that's
you gotta
awesome.
like and subscribe. Sorry, I forgot that shit.
Like and so this will work out well. So on Sunday, we'll cut off the first contest. So for the first 3 dozen, we'll cut that off on Sunday. This episode will post Monday. So, and we'll give this one a week for people to watch and make their comments on the YouTube channel. So that'll be back-to-back weeks. I'm looking over there right now. I've got 12 dozen decoys. So right now we've got 6 of them used up. So yeah, stay tuned because
1-year anniversary is coming up. I don't know what the other sticks will be used for.
Yeah, good point. Ryan.
No, good to chat, boys. Catch up. It's a highlight of the week for me, and good luck to you guys on Sunday for your opener. I will be thinking of you, and I hope I get bombarded with lots of pictures for living vicariously through you guys. So good luck to you.
There you go. Everybody, as usual, we're not experts. We're just a bunch of friends that love hanging out and shooting the shit and giving our own opinion on stuff. Please, to everybody that is, by the time this hits, you've already hit the fields. But I certainly, and I speak for everybody on the Union 0430, that we wish you a safe and successful opener for spring turkey here in Ontario. For all of our friends and listeners everywhere else in North America that listen, I hope you're being safe. I hope you're being ethical and have fun. Listen, give back to what we're taking. Give back for the first, in reference to the first 15 minutes of this episode. Big love to everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Till then, ciao.